Welcome back to Missionary Time with Mr. Brad and Miss Norma, and we're going to have our final story about Ringu today.
Yes, it'll be exciting.
The last little bit that we get to hear about Ringu, and so that's fun. And then, as we always start out, we're going to start out with one of the missionaries that Hagerman Baptist Church supports. And today's missionary is Norman Smith and his wife Susan, and they have 3 children. Chloe is their oldest. Cameron is the boy, and then I just forgot her name. I'm sorry. Melody. Melody is the youngest. She's right there, and they are missionaries in the country of Japan. And we've had quite a variety of different places where our missionaries are serving. And one of the things that I like about Norman Smith is that as he's come back and talked to us, we've learned from him that he goes to a country. Have you ever thought about going to a country and trying to fit in? Like, we're talking about Ringu. Would you have a hard time fitting in India, do you think?
Very much so.
Okay. And I think that any country that you're not used to, you would have a hard time understanding their customs, the things that they do, the things that they're used to. And so Norman and Susan have gone to Japan, and one of the things that he does that I like is that he tries to fit in with them as their customs, the things that they do, the things that they're interested in, because he likes to make friends with the people so that he can naturally start talking about things that are more important, and he can start talking about Jesus, and he can start telling them, about his faith and different things like that. So Norman's done that, and he's had different things we've talked about before. He's had camps. He has youth groups come over from the United States and help with their camps and things like that. And one of the things that we just read in a newsletter from Norman and Susan is that he's going to be involved in running.
No,
not me either. I agree. Maybe a long time ago, but not recently. I don't run either. But he's been training to run a 100-mile run. Now, it's not a race, but it's a 100-mile run, and it's for a charity. And it's for a charity in India. And he's doing it with some of the people that are with him there from Japan, and that gives him a chance to interact with them and talk to them about why he's doing it and that sort of thing. And it gives him that chance to share Jesus with those people as well. So,
what's the charity for?
It's a I just lost the word, an orphanage or a home of some sort in India, where people have, I'm pretty sure it's an orphanage where kids go when they don't have parents, and they've had some financial or some money problems, and so he's running to raise some awareness about that and raise funds for that. And then also he had asked us to pray for him that he would have opportunity with the other people that he's doing this with to help those folks understand how to use their money better, help them so they don't get into the same problems again, and just to be a help where he can be a help. And so not only is he doing it, but he's teaching some of the people that are with him there from Japan to be helpers as well. So that's kind of a neat experience. Let me show you their picture one more time. And what were you going to say?
Well, I just think that's wonderful. We send a missionary from America to Japan, and they're going to minister to people to India.
They're going to be missionaries in India. That's kind of neat. So there you go. If you think you'll pray for Norman and Susan Smith and their family, that would be a good thing for you to do. So, well, how about it? One more time with Ringu? Should we talk about Ringu?
We should, or maybe we shouldn't.
No, we better.
I could leave you guys on that cliffhanger. But, well, if you remember, last week, Ringu was wanting to go to town to find out if the missionaries were still there, because he was convicted. Now, convicted is how God works in our heart and makes us realize that there is sin, something wrong that we need to confess, take care of, fix. And remember, he had stolen the harmonium. And he realized, God had worked in his life, that he needed to give it back. And Grub Sahib had told him if he found it, that he should take it to Miss Mary. And when Ringu was in town earlier, people were saying all the missionaries had left. They were gone. They were never coming back. And he was like, I need to go find this out for sure, because he wanted to return the harmonium. So his brother, Batu, first time, said, I'll come with you. So do you think maybe God was working in his heart?
That's a pretty good example of when you do something right and somebody else sees you're doing something right. There's a change in the
Mm-hmm.
you want to see that same kind of change. So
Yeah.
it's a good example.
So Batu noticed. And so they got in the cart. Dad said, go get some wood. So here was their opportunity to go to town. And he was like, I've got to go as fast as I can. And he had Batu sit in the back, holding on to that harmonium because he didn't want it to pop out and break or get lost or anything like that. And as he went over and he looked into town, he's like, oh no. Remember?
Yep.
All of the tents were gone.
All gone.
The missionaries were gone. He's just so sad. And then his brother said, Ringu, look! I see a tent. One tent. I wonder who's there. So he got excited again, and they got closer and closer. Not as fast as before when he was so excited to see Grub Sahib, and he was like, I wonder who this one is. Got a little closer and closer. And when they got closer, this is who they saw. He said, look who that is. And this person said, well, hello. He said, come here. I need you. I need you to come help. Usually people don't say, hello, come here and help, do they? But they're like, oh, that must be Miss Mary. They had never really met her before, but the person who didn't look like the rest of them looked, she looked very different, and she was in a tent, so that must be exactly who Grub Sahib was talking about. And so they climbed down and got out, and sure enough, she introduced herself. She said, hi, I'm Miss Mary, and I'm so glad you're here. I could really use your help. I am trying to change the words, or not change the words, but put them into your Korku language, the words from the Bible, what God has said into the Korku language, so that all of you in the village and everywhere would be able to read it and understand and know what God has to say. But I'm kind of stuck with some of the words. I don't know what words to use or how to write them. I need your help. Can you come here and help me? Ringu's, okay, sure. She's like, come here, come sit down. I'm going to tell you more about him. Okay. And they both walked in and sat down. She was just that type of lady that you just she was friendly, she was nice, and they just did what she said, and they sat down. And, of course, Ringu wanted to know more about God. He was ready. And he was kind of surprised because, you know who else sat down?
His brother?
Yeah, his brother sat down, too. So they're sitting there, and you know what Miss Mary pulled out? A piece of paper. And Ringu went, oh! It looked just like the piece of paper in his turban. And so he reached up and he pulled out the one, and she said, I see that you need a new one of those. She said, oh. So she handed the new one right to Ringu. She said, can you read that one to me? Well, I'll try. Remember, it had been quite a while, and he'd been going to school, and he had been learning how to read. So there were some words in there that, yes, he did know how to read now, but some of the bigger words he was still having some problems with. So he sat down and he was reading what he could to Miss Mary, and then the words that he wasn't quite sure about, she helped him out with. And she explained it to him, and they read that paper all the way through. And when they were finished, oh, Ringu's heart just was like, this is wonderful. I know everything it says on this paper all the way through. And he was so glad to know that he was going to be able to go to heaven. And he was thinking about it. And then all of a sudden, you know what? He just blurted out. He's like, oh, Jesus is my Savior. I'm going to go to heaven. And, oh, I need to go see Grub Sahib, yes, I need to go. You know what? It doesn't matter where he is. I need to go see him and Pandu. It doesn't matter where they are. I must go see them, even if they're far away. Yep, that's exactly what I must do. Okay, I'm going to go do that. Oh. Miss Mary was quiet for a moment, and she said, Grub Sahib has gone far away. He had to go to a hospital in Bombay, and that's a big city in India. He was very, very sick, and they couldn't help him in Bombay, so he had to go with his family to America. And when he got in America, he was still very sick, and the doctors there couldn't help him. So there was nothing that they could do. So he's in heaven now. Grub Sahib is in heaven. Well, he's with God. That's wonderful. And he's with Jesus, and what a wonderful, I bet he's happy now. Oh, yes. Oh. Wait. Does that mean that he's dead? Yes, it does mean that he's dead. Oh. Well, Ringu just started crying, and he was just so sad. And right then and there, he just felt completely alone and completely sad, and he just didn't know what he was going to do, and he wasn't sure about anything anymore. And he just knew that he loved Sahib, and he just really wanted to see him again. And Miss Mary looked at him, and she said, Ringu, I have a very small picture of Grub Sahib. Would you like that to keep? You have a picture of him? Yes, I would love that. And Ringu was crying, and she gave it to him, and he just looked at it, and she's like, thank you so much. She's like, this is my Sahib who told me about Jesus. She goes, Batu, look. And Batu looked, and he had been listening to everything. He didn't say anything, but he did look, and he kept listening. And then Miss Mary looked at Ringu, and she said, Ringu, she said, it was God's plan for Grub Sahib to go up into heaven right now and to be with him. And right now, God has a plan for you. And I believe it's God's plan for you to help me with the Korku language, because I don't know enough of it to take all of your words and to change everything from what the Bible says into your language so that the people will understand it. I really need your help. Would you be willing to help me? And you can serve God that way. Ringu thought about this, and he's like, I want to serve God. I want to obey him. I want to do that. And do you think if I obey God and I serve him that I could grow up to be a missionary like Grub Sahib? And Miss Mary said, if that's God's plan for your life, yes, you could grow up to be a missionary just like Grub Sahib. And he's like, oh. Miss Mary, I have a really big problem. Sahib told me if I found his harmonium, I should bring it here. Oh, did you find it? No. But I have it. I stole it before I was saved. And I want to return it. What should I do? Well, you could give it to Grub Sahib's wife. She's coming back. She is? Oh, that would be perfect. That's exactly what Grub Sahib wanted me to do. It belonged to her. Can I leave it with you and you can give it to her? Can I go get it now? And he grabbed Batu and ran out to the cart, and they very carefully brought it in and they gave it to Miss Mary. When you do something wrong and you know God's told you that and you can fix it, it's just like this great big weight has been lifted off your shoulders. And that is exactly how Ringu felt. It was like, he confessed it to God, he confessed it to others, and he was doing what he could to make it right. And it's like, yes, everything was better. And he was like, you sure you're going to give it to Sahib's wife as soon as she gets here? And Miss Mary's like, yes, I'm going to give it to her as soon as she returns. Yes. And he's like, all right, well, we were supposed to be getting wood, so we need to go, but next time I come back, I'll help you with the Korku words, okay? So, all right, bye. All right, and all of this, Ringu had the biggest smile on his face. He's like, yes, I'm so happy. Well, Batu was just thinking about everything and thinking, and they were writing, and he'd been listening to everything and just watching. And while they're writing, Ringu couldn't help himself. He just started praying. He's like, God, thank you so much for just saving me and letting me return the harmonium and letting me help out with the Korku language with Miss Mary. Oh, thank you. Would you please tell Grub Sahib that I returned the harmonium? I think that would make him happy. And I look forward to seeing him someday in heaven. Just thank you, God, so much. He was still smiling, and they're riding along. Batu's just listening and thinking. All of a sudden, Batu's like, Ringu, I don't understand this paper. I don't understand any of it. I don't understand what it means. Do you think you could explain it to me? Yes, I will be glad to explain it to you. All the way home, I will be glad to explain it to you. And that's exactly what he did. Ringu was able to help Miss Mary with the Korku words. He was able to start by explaining about being saved to his very own brother. He said he wanted to grow up to be a missionary. Did he have to wait to grow up to be a missionary? He was starting right then and there. You don't have to wait to grow up to be a missionary. You can be a missionary, no matter what age you are, by telling people about Jesus and what he's done for you. So, thank you for watching.
That was a pretty good story.
Oh, it was. It was a
Good-
wonderful
had a
story.
good ending.
You did.
I was worried for a little bit there about how it was going to end. So,
Oh, it was a great, great story. So,
well, thanks for listening to the story of Ringu. Thanks for listening about our missionaries, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.